Hey folks, Jimmy D from Jimmy D's Guitar Lessons Rock Talk. We are going to continue to work on this guitar. So what did we do last time? We did the fret leveling and polishing. Now we're going to put the strings on and we're going to set it all up to set the string height, the intonation, etc. One thing what I'm going to start doing now is what I did off camera was I actually washed this off or polished it with waterless car wash. Worked really good. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go around here and check these out, make sure they're nice and tight. And if I have to, I'll snug them up. I'm going to do that off camera. And then I'm going to start putting some strings on. And then we're going to take it from there. Anyways, stick around. Yeah. All right, welcome back. So here's my plan of attack. I'm going to take this cool screwdriver that I got. It's called the Octopus. It's 8-in-1 tool. It's pretty good. It's got a couple like wrench ends on here, screwdriver stuff. So what I did was always make sure, let's see if I could see this in the camera. Yeah, I tighten up the tuning pegs up top here, snug them up. I did have some that were loose, so I snugged them up. And then in here, I take the screwdriver Phillips and snug up these screws in here. We'll review it after with some close-ups. You don't want to go too tight. I know some of these are a little tight. I'm just going to back them off a little bit. You don't want them not tight enough. So then after that, I'm going to put some strings on. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to use my drill and this to put the strings on. Or you could use a string winder. If you don't have a string winder, just do it by your hands. But I'm going to put them on, and then I'll show you how I lock them in how I strung them through the holes and how they look. But I'm just going to do some stuff off camera, and then we'll come back and see where we're at. So I'm going to take the strings out. I'm going to put them on. Strings are kind of cool to put on. Everyone kind of puts them on a different way, but the end result's pretty much the same. Some people like putting one at a time. People like to lay them all out and put them on. Me, I don't really, doesn't matter how I do it. I just do it the way I do it. So I'll probably put this in fast forward, and I'll pause it when I need to say something important. But for now, I'm just going to string it up. There's a hole in the back here. I'll string it up through here, and we'll start putting them on. And then we got these holders down here. We'll put them on. I'll show you how they go. They go a certain way. Some people have them twisted, but not a big deal. And yeah, I'm going to start and have this in fast forward. Enjoy the music. So one thing to remember when you take these out of the package, make sure they don't bend. You don't want to kink in them. Just let them naturally unwind. You get a kink in it, it's not cool. Alright, there's a few ways that you could wind these up. I like to have all these facing this way. I'll do that before. Just easier to string them through. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and some books on how to string different methods. So I'll just do the one on camera here. So I usually take, this string, the 6 string, I'll like put my finger here, and then I'll bring this back. And what I like to do is lift it straight up. There's different knots and different ways. And then I'll string it on. I'll just use the hand winder for now, just on this one. And I keep some tension on it. I have this going up and this going down. So this way it gives it a few good winds. torn. So that gives you about 3 winds or so. And then I usually go like this, just so I don't poke myself. I could cut it off right now, but I'm not going to. But that's the first string on. That's the basics of string. Maybe what I'll do is I'll bring the camera down when I do the next one, and I'll show you how to do that one. So I'm going to pause it and reset the camera. We're going to check it out. All right, got a good camera angle. I'm going to do the A string. Sometimes what I like to do is here, I like to just bend this a little bit. It helps it get through the back bridge and underneath here so you don't scratch this, because you can and it's plastic, but got to go under this piece here. Okay. And remember, we have here, okay, pull it, make sure the anchor is in the back. So remember 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll bring it back. Put my finger here, I'll lift it up, take the string winder, and I'll start winding. Oops. I'll start winding it up. I'll make sure this is up. And I'll keep the tension on it. And that's how easy that is. Again, I'll just bend this here so I don't poke myself. And that's that. So I'll reposition the camera again. And I will put some more on. But before I do that, I got the camera here. Got these locks here. Okay, there's a certain way they go. Okay. They're tapered. Don't go that way. Go this way. So I'll put them on there just loosely, and then we'll continue on. Alrighty. How do you guys string your guitars? Let me know in the comments below. Curious. Let me know if I'm doing a good job or a crappy job. Alright, I have them on. I'm just going to put these anchors on. So when they say it's a double locking tremolo system, typically there's a lock here, but these are just the string throughs, and there's a lock here. So I'm going to snug these on, and we'll take it to the next step. I'm going to pause the video and put these on, and I'll be right back. Alright, I have all the strings on. I have these on loosely. What I'm going to do is now, these string winders, this string winder came with a cutter. Usually I use side cutters like this, but I'll try these out. Got it close there. And again, when you've got these string ends like we talked about earlier when we took off the strings from before, you can put them in your garbage, or you could go outside and put them in your garbage can so you do not poke yourself. So I'm going to just cut these and set them aside, and then see where we're at. Okay, got them there. So what you want to do is I want to inspect here to make sure they're sitting properly in here and in here. And they are. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of tighten them up. Not with a tuner. Just you could hear that one here, how it's like. So I'll just kind of get them to a little snug position. So this is a game of tension and tug of war. So I want to keep this bridge like this, and look at this. I take that out and it's level. So now, here's the thing. I start tightening these up, and this bridge here is going to go like this. And then once that's done, we will set the, you can't, it's limited on how to set the string height on here. There's just these two fasteners, but we'll do that. And then we'll do the intonation. It will take a little bit of time to do the intonation, but it's well worth it. It's always good to, when you're changing your strings, to kind of keep the same gauge of strings. I had those big, heavy strings on here, so these are a lot lighter. So it's going to be a little different, but once these are on, I plan on keeping these strings gauges on this guitar all the time. And yeah, that's just the way to do it. All right, so I'm going to just show you some close-ups here. So here we go. Put some of the stuff away. These are just set. See how they are tapered? I always like to take a look down here at the bridge. So what I like to do is I like to set these all the way. I'll turn them up and then I'll bring them in about halfway and use that as a starting point for my fine tuners. Turn them down. Little. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plug in one of my tuners and then start tuning it up, and we'll see where we're at. All right, so I'm using my Boss tuner. This is kind of cool. I'm just going to tune these up, and then we're just going to see where things go. All right, so I have it. The first initial tuning. This takes a few steps to do, because if I go back to my low E, you'll see it's low, and then you're playing the adjustment game. So I like the height of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the springs in the back. Check that out. I don't know if you can see that, but that's straight. So what we do now is, this is the fun part. Just a little bit of tuning. You just want to try to get in a ballpark. You see that it went down. And I'm going to tune it to pitch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first string, sixth string, and you'll see what I'm doing. Like I say, this is finicky to do, but once you get it done, it's good. Wow. So you can see I had to tune it a lot more. And now look at this. The bridge is starting to go like this. So I'm going to fix that. I'll fast forward through it so I don't bore you, but I will pause it when I need to talk about certain things. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tighten the strings up a little tighter, because that's what it looks like it needs. And I remember when I before I did the string change, approximately, I know where the screws in the backs were. And that will put the tension on it so it doesn't go up again. You can see just by doing that, probably hard to see again, it comes back. If you can, please leave a comment, like this video, subscribe if this is your first time. We got a few other videos on guitars and a bunch of other stuff that's kind of cool. So that'd be really cool. Help me out. And once I get YouTube famous, I could probably buy another camera and do some funky stuff with the overhead shots and whatnot. But I'm not professional. I'm not sponsored. This is just how I see how I do things. I just thought I'd capture it because it's kind of cool. And yeah, it keeps me out of trouble. But I will go back on to doing the strings. I'm going to do is I'm going to tune this, and then I'm going to lock these. And then we're going to see where we're at here. I think I got to loosen the strings more. Like I say, this takes time, but if it was easy and quick, everyone would be doing it. So I'm going to get this to A. All right, it took a little while, but we're back and we made it. I have them locked down. It's in tune for the most part. Now we have to stretch the strings. You can lift them up, stretch them. I got this cool tool off the internet, and it's a string stretcher. Put it on here, and you just go up and down, and you stretch your strings. And then after you do this, you will have to tune it again. This is kind of a cool tool. It's actually my first time using this. Say I used to just lift them up and it would be good. So I'm going to stretch these. And after I stretch these, I'm going to fine tune them again. Strings. And I may have to make more adjustments or whatnot. I'll do that off camera. And then after I tune it, I'll come back and we'll have a chat. Because I think that's what we're going to do for this video, is just have the strings on here. And then we will save the string height and the intonation for another video. So I don't want this to be too long, because it's not good. Anyways, stick around. I'll be back. All right, let's review what we did today. We changed the strings on this guitar. It's Ibanez RG270. We put the strings on, we clipped them, we tightened up the screws here, the machine heads that need to be tightened. We made sure that these were on properly. We made the tremolo here. Actually, look at that, it looks like perfect. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks really good. We adjusted the springs in the back. Like I say, it takes a while. Yeah, it is what it is. If I know I have to put strings on again, and I know I'm changing the same gauge, I will change one string at a time. If I take them all off, I have to start from scratch. And that's that balancing act. And that's what takes a long time. When you do one string at a time, at least you can put it on and you have the proper tension. And then once you have that, you go to the next string and on and on. So that's that for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do help me. It's easy to do. Just hit the subscribe thing. And I usually put videos out once a week. I try to. So it's kind of cool. It really helped me out. But yeah, this Ibanez, the RG270. It's a good guitar. It's not my favorite Ibanez guitar. It's good. It's got some weird bridge on it, but it is what it is. So the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to set the string height and the intonation. And while we're at it, we might as well set the pickup height. And then after that, we'll get back on the electronics. We'll take a look at the electronics, making sure the input jack is nice and tight. And yeah, we'll just take it from there. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Take care. And remember, rock on. Yeah.